Man, I was out walking, and I think a phone call was coming in. I couldn't see the screen of the phone. Then again, I have dropped this phone several times. How the screen is still working and the camera intact, I'll never know. It's crazy. I set it on my lap, then I forget about it, and when I stand up, it hits the ground. But I did go walking. I walked the cul-de-sac, both of them. And then I walked our entire block twice. I don't know if that's a hiccup, a belch, or what, but it's like I can feel my vocal cords vibrate for no reason. I wanted to sell when my father died. I wanted to sell it all. It wasn't mine to sell, but I owned part of it to sell. I wanted my mother to sell all of, her portion as well. Find a smaller one-floor home with, multiple bedrooms, bathrooms, and laundry all on the same floor, a fucking garage. That way you don't have to worry about snow and stuff in the wintertime. But no, it bounced back and forth from this house is too big to keep up with to I'm not selling it. I've lived here for 30 years and la 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 la. I would like my portion liquidated without some judge stating that it would harm the integrity of the farm that they just let go anyway. When Michael and Shell bought the land, the way I read the contract was an initial payment to me of like 11 grand, 18 grand minus the debt that I owed. So the lien would come off the property and then additional payments, but I haven't seen another dime since then. Do you think they gave me a copy of that contract? No. I wanted to sell it to out-of-towners who would love having it for the hunting property, but my mother didn't want that either because Michael and Shell want it. Let them have every goddamn thing they want. They did. Opium incense. It's a lovely fragrance. Are they? There's no one here talking to me. I tickle myself this way. Our ancestors are always around us. The spirits never die. Some of them move on. Some of them don't. That's what I believe. I also believe matter doesn't die. It only changes form. Just like these leaves. They don't truly die. The nutrients and such in them go into the ground and fertilize it. Matter only changes form. Those trees may look like they're dying, but they're just going into their normal shock period from the weather changes. They change form and they'll bloom or bud out bigger and beautiful, more beautiful than they did this year. I really don't like this tree. I don't know what kind it is. It has those weird leaves. They have the bumps all over them. Forget what they're called. I guess those are the seeds. Looks like it. So, shall I talk about my Me Too moments? Like I said, my Me Too photo shoot, which I never could get accomplished, it would have to be a state trooper silver badge stuck in between my lips, me shirtless, just in underwear, my hands behind my back with hashtag Me Too written across my stomach. For all the people who called it nothing but drug addiction due to mental illness and that I was just lazy and unmotivated and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that didn't help with the mental health suicide at all. Especially the members of the medical community claiming you can do plenty of other things to help with your pain. Shopping. Well, I kind of have to be able to work to afford to shop. Art. Well, I kind of have to be able to work to afford art. Kind of have to work to afford the water bill. Doing things that entertain you. Well, things that entertain me, like reporting on instances and issues that no one else has the balls to talk about. That's been real helpful. The law enforcement grooming me to love them and them alone. As I said, anytime I would bring someone into town, it would be all over them. Walking. When I'm not in so much pain I want to die. Believe it or not, the cannabis is not a cure-all, especially for the bone pain. It's much more helpful for me for the muscular and nerve pain. Not that the bone pain is excruciating, it does help with it. Not as much as I would like. Whereas the opiates are better for bone pain, in my opinion. They suck at neuropathic, and cannabis is better with muscular too. Not to mention the side effects of the opiates. Constipation, vomiting, withdrawal, nausea, dizziness, drowsiness, double vision. My vision is a little bit screwed up lately, but that's just because my left eye is getting worse. This one spot right here, that's one of the times I got my asses handed to me. Right here. Punched so hard it's a wonder it didn't cause an abdominal aneurysm, or at least that's what I remember happening. Punching, being doubled over in pain, and then like coming to smiling. That was, after I had talked about Debbie Booer's forced sing-along about the brass ring, blue wall of silence people that Hamilton County claims does not exist. Well, they were teaching us about the brass ring, blue wall of silence in 5th grade. Gary and Debbie Booer. Music and IT. And drugs. Make your claims that there is no such thing as the blue wall of silence. Just because it's called something else doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's a fraternal organization rule that they stand up for one another. If they don't, they see it as betrayal. That's why they're called whistleblowers, to shame them, to make them feel guilty. There's no one there. I'm just talking out loud. Whoever happens along and enjoys my song all day long. Don't ask me why my hands get placed where they go. I don't know. The doctors never would answer my questions about it either. For whoever happens along to sing along side by side. As I said, I enjoy singing. I can't do it quietly. Love comes to those who believe it, and that's the way it is. I was dreaming while I drove the long straight road ahead. Yeah. I can't hit that one. I was dreaming while I drove the long straight road ahead. Yeah. The taste of your sweet kisses, your arms open wide. This fever for you, it's just burning me up inside. It's very hard for me to control my vocal cords anymore. But I like singing and I don't really care how it sounds. The whole point of those therapy sessions were to help me cope with what had been done, not to make other people more comfortable. Well, we don't accept that type of behavior. So shall I go into Corporal Werline's transphobic pervert post and her goddamn family? Language denotes the gravity of the situation. I'm not trying to make trouble. I'm not trying to be a criminal. No criminal intent, no ill will. I'm simply pointing out the discrepancies I find with their bullshit. I do not appreciate the medical gaslighting, especially with my cousin who has the same symptoms actually getting a diagnosis of POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardic syndrome. So it's not like it's something that isn't in our family. My cousin and her daughter, because guess what? Their physicians were kind enough to order the 24-hour heart monitor. Instead, Dr. Regina Case with TriHealth said, I can order a stress test if you want me to. I didn't even bother mentioning the 24-hour heart monitor, even though I knew it should be done. Why? Because I'm testing these people. Not in some devious, backhanded way. I just wanted to see what they had to say. Syncope is a very fucking serious medical condition, and they didn't seem to care. They always see cannabis and say, well, you know, that's probably your problem. Cannabis. You people need to grow the fuck up. A 24-hour heart monitor with my family history and my symptoms was warranted because of a 12-lead EKG showing normal sinus rhythm. There couldn't be anything wrong with my heart. I didn't go forward with the stress test because I didn't feel like driving all the way down there to Western Ridge that day. It wasn't because I was intoxicated or hungover. I felt like shit. And I haven't rescheduled it because I just haven't. The 24-hour heart monitor would have been more appropriate to start with. That's just my opinion. But you see, they see that as willfulness and, you're not the doctor. Well, if you weren't so fucking arrogant and actually listened to your patients, like my primary care does, he is always willing to go over appointment time with me. He does look at his watch and is like, you know, we've pushed it at least 5 or 10 minutes past appointments. I kind of have to go. It's like, yeah, I know. Sorry. 24-hour heart monitor was more than warranted, especially with my cousin, her daughter, just 2 of my family members with the postural orthostatic tachycardic syndrome due to autoimmune illness. Maybe I'll ask Dr. Lobert when I go back to the fibro physician about it. But law enforcement and legal really don't care about those things unless they're already established. How in the hell was I supposed to have Tourette's syndrome as a defense in my medical file with doctors labeling it as the shits of the mouth? Now, as I've asked, do you really believe those doctors would write that in my medical chart, the shits of the mouth? I really doubt it. I didn't want to come forward with my story about being human trafficked and raped, especially by the women. I felt like I had no other choice, just like with the suicide. They don't want to hear the story because it's upsetting for other people, while ignoring and totally showing nothing but apathy towards what it did to me, because they see me as so boisterous and aggressive and, well, I can either be this way or halfway normal, or I can walk around crying to the point I'm suffocating on my own snot. That's how bad the trauma is. My apologies for my behaviors. I meant no criminal intent or ill will. I simply wanted to get my fucking side of the story out there to show how goddamn disgusting and underhanded my families are. No offense to any of them, I'll always love you because that's just biological bonding. But at the same time, I don't need you in my lives. The money, I could have killed myself a long time ago. And I would have had every right to do it. Suicide was decriminalized by the federal government in 1993 for this very reason, among other things. Cops causing children so much goddamn grief they couldn't even survive anymore without even fucking helping financially. So I just felt that shit pressed against my stomach again. I can't even sit in my own goddamn home without people fucking feeling around and doing their goddamn thing. I'm allowed to refuse medical care. It's not like they give a shit anyway. Now I can feel a chokehold or something again for refusing medical care. So huge thank you to the rapey fucking pieces of shit fraudulently filing medical documentation covering up the rapist fucking law enforcement and their fucking dumbasses allowing a goddamn canine unit to sodomize me. Do you see now what touching me creates, only for them to totally misunderstand it because they don't give a shit? And that's the end of that one. They don't understand it because they don't give a shit. Because they have carte blanche to behave like fucking complete assholes. Whereas normal civilians paying their goddamn salaries are not allowed to say a fucking word. So you all go right ahead and just keep acting up. Losing more and more people to the opioid epidemic and suicide. Pay your own goddamn salaries. That's another thing that kills me. This doctor said you need this treatment. You're refusing it. We're allowed to arrest you during a crazy check. I'm allowed to deny medical care and refuse it in my religious efforts. That mental health shit that was falsified a long time ago saying I'm incompetent to take care of it was to help them get away with raping me and producing child porn with it. So let me tell you about Sam and Ruvana Bavard and the goddamn Kehoe rape barn. Oh well. So for my cousin's coworker at Shakely to talk about her 50-year-old virgin pussy and me taking 2 Jack Russells from my cousin, I've already shown them in videos approaching me for more love. What in the fuck she's talking about, I'll never know. I found it highly disgusting that they would be discussing my cousin's virgin vagina. Not to mention me being bipolar, according to a bunch of physicians who didn't even take the time to hear the entire story, or the imaging, or the medical files. Forced treatment due to law enforcement. Shall I talk about the officers who raped me in Hamilton County? Let me guess, Russell was the driver. Let me guess, the bankrupt gamblers needed a fucking payroll and the oxy and heroin and cannabis weren't good enough anymore. Get over your goddamn selves. I'm done walking again. They claim that them pushing and touching and poking and prodding shouldn't lead to what it does. I'm a fucking rape survivor. Only for those sick pieces of shit to throw me in with a large African American man to rape me again. How fucking sick can they be? Now, shall I talk more about Patrick and Christy Boggs' goddamn ties to that disgusting child porn being fucking produced? And that's what PTSD did to me. All thanks to a bunch of fucking rapey judicial officers and their goddamn dumbass policies. So let me tell you about John Estell forcing me to give him a blowjob, Stockton Wood ejaculating on my goddamn face, and these fucking sick pieces of shit here not even taking an accurate goddamn statement. Oh well.